Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are really getting into it. The Wimbledon 2025 quarterfinals. High stakes time.
Absolutely. This is where it gets serious.
Yeah, it's not just about, who wins or loses. It's the strategies clashing, those unexpected moments, and just, well, the mental game at the absolute peak.
Precisely.
Our goal here, cut through all the noise, show you the key matches, the surprise players still in it, and who's really gunning for that trophy.
Wow.
We want you to leave this with a really clear picture of what's happening, straight from the courts.
You've nailed it. The quarterfinals, they're like the crucible of a Grand Slam, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Every player's game just gets put under this huge microscope. Massive pressure. You've got precision versus power, mental strength tested constantly. And yeah, sometimes just a bit of luck changes everything.
Right?
And what's fascinating now is this mix, established champs, Grand Slam winners, alongside these rising stars just itching to make their mark, sets up some potentially amazing matches.
Okay, let's unpack it. Starting with the women's singles quarterfinals. They're all happening Tuesday, July 8th.
Yeah.
So, first up, Aryna Sabalenka, the #1 seed, against the unseeded Laura Siegemund.
Quite the contrast.
Well, exactly. Sabalenka's been, frankly, dominant, flawless. Hasn't dropped a single set, hasn't really looked troubled at all.
Just rolling through.
And then Siegemund, she's 37, unseeded, and on this, total Cinderella run, beating expectations round after round.
It's great to see. Sabalenka's power, though.
Yeah.
It's not just hitting hard, is it? It's how she controls the court, the depths, the angles. It's relentless, especially on grass.
Yeah.
Siegemund's got bags of experience, sure, but finding ways to attack against that kind of pressure, it's tough. Maybe her slice, some clever drop shots, try to mix it up.
Disrupt the rhythm.
Exactly. That's the question.
Yeah.
Can that experience find enough tactical openings against just sheer overwhelming force? It's a big ask.
Makes for an interesting tactic watch, definitely. Okay, second women's match. Amanda Anisimova, seed 13, against another unseeded player, Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova.
Another intriguing one.
Well, Anisimova's got the head-to-head, 3-0 against Pavlyuchenkova.
Yeah.
And she's also been super solid, hasn't dropped a set yet either. Very consistent.
But here's the thing with Pavlyuchenkova, 65 Grand Slams played. 65.
Wow, that's incredible experience.
Right. She's seen literally everything on a tennis court. She won't panic. And she can absorb pace, redirect it. If Anisimova's aggression dips even slightly, Pavlyuchenkova can pounce.
So potential for an upset.
I think so, yeah. It feels like one where that veteran know-how could genuinely make the difference. Definitely one to watch for a potential surprise.
A real test of nerve for Anisimova then. Okay, let's switch gears to the men's singles. Starting with Tuesday's matches. First one, Taylor Fritz, #5 seed, versus Khachanov, the 17th seed.
This could be fireworks.
Fritz is coming in, red hot, right. It's won titles back-to-back in Stuttgart and Eastbourne. Confidence must be sky high.
Huge momentum.
Khachanov leads their head-to-head 2-0. That adds a layer, doesn't it?
It really does. And, a lot of people are calling this a genuine toss-up. Possibly one of the biggest potential QF shocks.
Really? Despite Fritz's form.
Yeah, because that 2-0 isn't ancient history. It suggests maybe Khachanov's game matches up well against Fritz, maybe that heavy forehand finds Fritz's backhand, or a serve +1 disrupts Taylor's baseline game. Fritz has that powerful serve and plays top-tier tennis consistently, but Khachanov seems to have found a tactical edge before. It's fascinating.
That head-to-head context is key then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next on Tuesday, unseeded Cameron Norrie against the #2 seed, Carlos Alcaraz.
Big one. Huge stakes for Alcaraz.
Absolutely. He's won multiple slams. He's the defending champ here, and he's chasing a third straight Wimbledon title. That's history right there.
Incredible goal.
And Norrie, he's the home favorite. You know that crowd is going to be absolutely electric for him. He's made deep runs before, too.
Yeah, Alcaraz is obviously the clear favorite.
Yeah.
His game is just explosive, all-court, fearless, but you cannot underestimate that Wimbledon crowd behind a British player.
Yeah.
Norrie feeds off that energy. He's a relentless retriever, has that solid forehand. Look, is an upset likely? Probably not. But is it impossible? No. If that crowd gets going, it could unsettle Alcaraz, maybe push him slightly off his game. It's about whether Norrie can use that energy to really apply pressure.
That atmosphere effect, it's what makes Wimbledon special.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at Wednesday's men's quarterfinals. First up, Jannik Sinner, the world #1, against Ben Shelton, the 10th seed.
Sinner's been playing on another level.
He really has. Reigning Australian Open champ, and here, untouchable practically. Hasn't dropped a set, hasn't even lost a service game.
That's just staggering consistency.
Yeah, definitely the underdog. It's his first Grand Slam quarterfinal, though he did make that U.S. Open semi last year.
Yeah.
But everyone knows about that serve.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Oh, the serve is huge. A massive weapon. It can get him free points, get him out of trouble. But Sinner's return game, his own serve, the precision from the baseline, it's just relentless.
So the question is, can Shelton's ground game hold up?
Exactly. Once the serve comes back, can he stay in those rallies against Sinner's accuracy and depth? It's a huge step up, a big learning moment for Shelton against this kind of, well, almost perfect form Sinner is showing. Big mental test.
Okay, final men's quarterfinal. Flavio Cobolli, unseeded, facing the legend Novak Djokovic, seeded 6th.
Djokovic just keeps rolling.
He really does. The guy with the most men's Grand Slams ever just notched his 100th win here at Wimbledon. He looks like he's just cruising. Cobolli pulled off a great win in the last round.
But this is Novak Djokovic at Wimbledon. He's operating differently right now. His defense is legendary, turns defense into attack like nobody else, especially on grass. Cobolli's run is fantastic, showed real fight.
Yeah.
Facing Djokovic in this mood, though, probably on center court. That's a whole different challenge. And that 100 wins milestone, it's not just a number. It speaks to, almost 2 decades of utter dedication, focus, and just refusing to slow down. It's incredible. Masterclass.
So let's pull back for the bigger picture. Potential upsets, semifinal paths. We talked about Pavlyuchenkova against Anisimova, that experience factor, right?
Yeah, that's a key one.
And Fritz versus Khachanov, that head-to-head makes it much less clear-cut than just looking at recent form.
Definitely a tricky one to call.
And Norrie against Alcaraz, yeah, it's a long shot, but you just can't dismiss that home crowd energy entirely.
You really can't. So putting it together, on the women's side, you'd have to think Sabalenka likely gets through to face Anisimova, assuming Anisimova handles the Pavlyuchenkova challenge. Both look in great form.
Makes sense.
On the men's side, the projected paths are, well, Fritz or Khachanov potentially playing Alcaraz or Norrie.
Okay.
And then Sinner or Shelton against Djokovic or Cobolli. Look, the top seeds, Sinner, Alcaraz, Djokovic, they are still the strong favorites to navigate these quarters.
Right.
But the question for you listening is, which of those paths feels maybe the most vulnerable? Where could we realistically see a major disruption? What's the one factor you think could flip a result?
Good question to ponder. Well, there you have it. That's our deep dive into the Wimbledon quarterfinals. Hopefully, you've got a much clearer sense now of the matchups, the tactics, the mental battles ahead.
Yeah, and maybe just one final thought to leave you with. We see these top seeds like Sinner, like Sabalenka, looking almost untouchable right now. What actually makes a player truly impervious in that Grand Slam pressure cooker? And flipping that, what does it genuinely take for an unseeded player like a Siegemund or a Cobolli to not just cause one upset, but to actually break through that barrier and make a deep, sustained run at this level?
That's the magic question, isn't it? Keeps us all watching. Definitely something to think about as you follow the rest of the action at Wimbledon. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.